Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Joe Citizen Show. My name is Roger Homefield. I am Joe Citizen. But, you know, we've all got to be Joe Citizen these days. We're going to need every Joe Citizen to come to the aid of his and her country. You know, I'm thrilled. I've got some really great news to tell you. There's some great things happening. The pendulum is finally starting to swing back. You know, for the first time since the Arab Spring 20 years ago, we are finally seeing some significant pushback against Islamist bullying in Europe. And here, too, it will happen once Trump is back in office. Now, the pendulum is swinging back, and the left had better darn well duck because it's coming. And now they're crying about, that we want retribution. Oh, boo. Who? So, in other words, you destroy the lives of American heroes like General Flynn and Mayor Giuliani. And there are hundreds more political prisoners like the January Sixers who they tried to break, who they did break in solitary confinement. Some of them committed suicide. How many lives have been ruined financially and emotionally by this nasty, vindictive administration that we have, trying to break them as if this was a third world tyranny, which frankly is exactly how this lawless rogue regime, this administration has been behaving for the last 3.5 years. And now they're running back to the corner of the ring with their palms up in the air to say, oh, please, no mas, no mas. Accountability will be enough retribution for you traitors. You know, back in the days of the original Joe Citizen Show in 2010, we witnessed the Arab Spring and we witnessed the mass Muslim migration into Europe. We shook our heads knowing it would not end well, and well, it hasn't. Angela Merkel, bless her heart, she said, we can do this, meaning that's what she said before she admitted another million Muslims into her country, because what she meant was that we can integrate these people into our society. That's what she thought. But the Muslims had no intention of assimilating in Germany or anywhere else for that matter. In Germany today, 2/3 of all welfare benefits go to the migrants, while the number of German-born citizens who receive welfare has been cut in half. The number of migrants getting these benefits have doubled. You know, back at the time of the Arab Spring in 2010, there were two warriors who wanted to save their countries, Marie Le Pen of France and Geert Wilders of the Netherlands. Marie Le Pen bravely walked through the sea of thousands of Muslims praying in the streets in prostrate position, making it impossible to get in or out of your apartments. But you see, it's always been about special treatment for Islam. It doesn't matter whose house it is, whose house you're in. You have to step aside and make room for the Muslims and their ways, because they, after all, are the supremacists. They are the supremes, and we are just the vile infidels. Geert Wilders was appropriately outspoken, and he was considered the number one on the fatwa hit list. He came to speak at a secret location in Palm Beach, and somehow I managed to get recruited to join the security team. And my job was to make sure that nobody breached the back door to roll hand grenades down the aisles. On my website, under the tab of tunes and pics, you can see what he looks like. He's a very tall, blonde man, and I'm in the process of chewing his ear off, as you can imagine. Now, Geert and Marine Le Pen, they were branded far right, as the foolish media still does today. Yet, they merely espoused common sense, trying to warn their countries and the West that they were risking their cultures by trying to accomplish something that Islam would never do: assimilate. I remember how much of a crushing blow it was when Geert and Marine Le Pen lost their elections, because I knew what a tremendous setback it was to the counter jihad movement. But here we are 12 years later, and both Marine Le Pen and Geert Wilders have won their first round of elections and are positioned to win the majority and take power in France and the Netherlands. Now, some people have suggested that this right-wing wave could help Trump in his election, but I say to you that it's the other way around. It's just the opposite. It's the pending Trump landslide, or the inevitable Trump landslide, that has in fact helped Marine Le Pen and Geert Wilders win their elections. This is momentous. It's nothing less than momentous, and it gives Western civilization a glimmer of hope that it may still survive after all. And this has not come a moment too soon either. Former leader and founding member of Hamas, Khalid Marshall, has called for a global uprising. He's asking for Muslims to sacrifice their blood, not just in Muslim countries, but wherever they are in the world. This is a direct appeal for Muslims to engage in worldwide jihad. Now, this is not merely a leader rallying his immediate followers. This is an individual with considerable influence attempting to galvanize a global jihad. The Joe Citizen Show has said all along that it's been the case with every Palestinian uprising over the decades, that the Palestinian issue has always been just used as an excuse to spark the flame, to rekindle and ignite worldwide jihad. In New York City, the suspected Queens jihadist was busted with an arsenal of weapons in his SUV while held without bail on Thursday. Held without bail. Well, hey, at least now we know what you have to do to get arrested in New York City and not get let right out. You just have to have a complete arsenal of weapons, apparently. His name is Judd Sanson, 29, and he was just blocks from LaGuardia Airport International when he was stopped by the alert cops. He had a loaded 9mm Glock, 9 loaded magazines, an NYPD vest, handcuffs, 2 axes, one of which was fastened to the roof of his car, a stun gun, multiple knives, a weighted whip, an expandable baton, an NYPD uniform items, a mask, and a reflective MTA vest. Here's the punchline. Etched into the baton were several troubling messages, including, "You left me no choice," "I am sorry," "You're going to learn today," and in Arabic, "God forgive me." Thousands of pro-Hamas protesters descended upon the White House last Sunday. They lit smoke bombs. They vandalized the Andrew Jackson statue in New York City. They vandalized the home of the Brooklyn Museum's Jewish director. At the annual congressional baseball game, they disrupted the national anthem and unfurled hate slogans. Crowds drowned them out with USA, USA. You know, in New York City, they're harassing Jews every single day. They took over a packed subway car. Perhaps you saw it. They took over a packed subway car, demanding to know if any Zionists were on board. Now don't go yelling racist whenever we disagree, 'cause that would just be lying to push your policy. Yeah, this is jihad stupid, so smart we just can't see, 'cause one of these days this jihad's gonna stomp on liberty. You know, folks, you have the right to know. Right now, we all have the right to know if there are sex offenders in our neighborhood. It's just a click away and you can see who's in your neighborhood. So shouldn't we also have the right to know if there are radical mosques in our neighborhood? Let me explain. In 2004, the day after Nick Berg had his head cut off by a jihadist, I knocked on the door of my local mosque with questions that big media to this day have still never asked the imams of our neighborhood mosques. Oh, little unimportant questions like, do you condemn 9/11? Do you want Sharia law in the United States? Do you hate your fellow Americans for being Christians and Jews? Just little things like that. The imam, his name was Maulana Safayet Muhammad, he invited me to be a special guest on several of his Muslim radio shows. I was surprised by that, but I guess he figured I was a big mouth. He would try to turn me in his direction. And so to protect others, I became Joe Citizen. I was truly, truly hoping that I would find out that I was able to dismiss the fears that we had about political Islam. But little did I know, I had no idea that my worst fears would pale in comparison to what I would eventually find out. The shocking reality that there is, in fact, a jihadist conspiracy to overthrow the United States government and ultimately the entire world with a one world country called an Ummah under Sharia law. I told the Muslim audience that if they came here to be part of the American dream, that they would be welcomed and embraced. I even told them, I said, look, you'll be American heroes. You'll be American heroes if you just help this country fight the terrorists. However, if you came here to change us, that's not immigration. That's invasion. If they came here with a predisposition, hating our citizens because they're Christians and Jews, and they didn't come here to join us, that's invasion. Now, most Muslims are not Sharia compliant or potential terrorists, but Sharia law is not compatible whatsoever with our Constitution, and in fact is the antithesis of our Constitution, which it aims to replace. Therefore, if a United States citizen is promoting Sharia law in the United States, he should be arrested and tried for sedition. And if a foreign national is here promoting Sharia law in America, he should be deported immediately. And any mosques or institutions or schools promoting Sharia law in America need to be shut down. Now, we must elect President Trump to make certain that America does not follow suit of the European countries, now being swallowed up by Islamism, even while Muslims are still relative minorities in those host countries. But currently, we're headed down the same path. So we will continue to sound the alarm to expose these inconvenient truths. Jihad did not start or end on 9/11. They have been fighting us ever since. Their goal is to have a one world Islamic country under Sharia law. The 9/11 terrorists, the 9/11 terrorists, they were not poor, they were not crazy, they were not uneducated, nor did they pervert or hijack Islam. Sadly to say, unfortunately, rather the opposite. They followed pure Islam. Islam has done nothing, zilch, nada. They've done nothing to change any of the dynamics which caused 9/11. Our infrastructure, our government, our law enforcement, our kids' textbooks have been infiltrated by Islamist operatives and propagandists prosecuting stealth jihad or creeping Sharia. Now, jihad will never stop unless it is stopped. So eventually, there's only going to be three outcomes. One, we submit and convert to Islam. Two, we defeat Islam. Three, Islam undergoes reformation for 21st century consumption. But unfortunately, the odds of that happening is not very good, although that by far would be the best option. I sat down with the Mulana. We must have We sat down for literally 6 to 8 hours discussing how to have a clarification of the Islamic doctrines that cause terrorism, because as opposed to the word reformation, because if you try to reform the Quran, that's heresy. That makes you an apostate. You can get your head cut off. So I was trying to find a way in to see if clarification would be any more forgiving, but it seems to be a non-starter. Too much fear. Actually, let me interrupt myself now. Egyptian President Sisi, years back, he said that the problem with terrorism, the reason for terrorism, is within Islam. And we could have popped the champagne cork, had a ticker tape parade for this guy in New York City, and had a big kumbaya, but Obama did nothing. He did nothing about it. We had an opportunity where we had a major Muslim figure saying, no, there is a problem with terrorism, and it is because of Islam. We could have worked together at that point, but Obama did nothing, just like he did nothing for the Green Revolution in Iran beforehand. Now, we must expose and stop jihad to protect our Western civilization and our Judeo-Christian culture. Now, there's nothing we can do about the millions of people that have already come in over this crazy border, and the hundreds of thousands more that will continue to come in up until the moment Trump takes office. Look, folks, I'm not the bully here. I'm not the big bad white man wanting to close down poor Muslim mosques and schools. Quite the contrary, they are the supremacists. And I am the one defending the underdog. And the underdog in this situation, believe it or not, is us. It's Western civilization. Really. And this is only because, it's only because we've been so big-hearted, and we've blinded ourselves with our own generosity that we may not understand that we really are the underdog until we get really badly bloodied. But fear not, good things are happening. Even the John Durham report is coming back. Everything will come out. Hillary's scheme to unseat an elected president, it's coming out. It's all going to come out. You know, folks, no parent ever wants to live to see their child die, and no patriot ever wants to see America die. We can never, ever let that happen. This is the Joe Citizen Show. I'm Roger Homefield. Thank you for being with us.
Bye-bye, so long, farewell. Bye-bye, so long. See you in November at the polls where we are gonna have our say. Better see you in November. It's our chance to throw these fools away. Counting the days till we're rid of you. Counting the hours and the minutes too. Bye-bye, so long, farewell. Bye-bye, so long.